Hi everybody, this is Saad for the Sad Truth. The first apartment that I moved into in Montreal after returning to Montreal, having finished my PhD, was in an area that historically has been known to have a lot of Hasidic Jews in it. And so I remember when I would walk around on the street, I would often be accosted on Friday nights or on Saturday by various Hasidic men who would be trying to ask me to come into their house to do a certain action that would otherwise not be permitted according to Shabbat laws. And this became sufficiently annoying that as I would walk down the street, rather than being, catcalled as might a woman be subjected to if she, say, passes by a stereotypical construction site, I would be quote, catcalled by these Hasidic men asking me to perform some sort of, Sabbath violation. Of course, they didn't know that I was Jewish. So after a while, when I realized what was happening, as I would be asked to stop to speak to them, I wouldn't even look at them and say, I'm Jewish, and kind of keep walking, waving them off. And then they would say, oh, sorry, we didn't know you're Jewish. Because, of course, they can't ask a fellow Jew to violate the Sabbath. Now, why am I telling you this story? It's because I want to contextualize this term that we constantly keep hearing when it comes to certain geopolitical realities. Are these Jews in question radical Jews? Are they extremist Jews? Are they militant Jews? Or are they observant Jews, meaning that the difference between them and me, other than the clothes that they wear, is in their level of observance. I mean, there are other differences, of course, but it's not as though they subscribe to some radical Judaism, right? So the fact that they adhere to kosher laws or to Shabbat rules is not because they adhere to extremist Judaism, whereas I adhere to some other set of religious doctrines, say gentle, soft Judaism. No, I simply choose to not abide by the Sabbath, even though it is something that is expected within Jewish doctrines. I don't adhere to all the kosher laws, even though that's what Judaism expects. So what differentiates the Israeli secular commando who puts his life on the line to defend his country, so he's Jewish, but he doesn't keep the Sabbath, he doesn't keep kosher. Is he the gentle, non-extremist Jew, whereas the Hasidic Jew who lives in Jerusalem is the extremist radical Jew, but he doesn't take up arms? No, these are silly qualifiers. The difference is that one set of people adhere faithfully to the religious doctrines while others don't. So now if we extend this discussion to these various qualifiers we hear about Islam, radical Islam, militant Islam, extremist Islam, has nothing to do with Islam, fundamentalist Islam versus Islam, none other than the head of Turkey, Erdogan, said that there is no such thing as a moderate or moderate Islam. He thought that these qualifiers are offensive. There's just Islam. And of course, there are many other Islamic thinkers that exactly abide by this viewpoint. So again, when people say radical Islam, it's not as though there are separate texts where radical tenets of Islam are codified versus another religion where there are more gentle tenets of Islam. Now, many people choose to ignore passages that they don't wish to abide by, and that's fine. That makes them as individuals people who choose to not be observant when it comes to certain tenets of their religion. But it doesn't say anything about the qualities of the religion itself. So to qualify the religion as extremist or benign or gentle or secular or liberal is akin to saying that broccoli is extremist, radical, or secular, right? it's as silly as that. Maybe the analogy is a bit stretched, but you get the general idea. So we could talk about individual Jews deciding that they don't wish to adhere to the pork prohibition. That doesn't mean that they are abiding to another version of Judaism. Same thing with Islam. You could decide that there are problematic passages in the Quran or in the Hadith that you don't want to abide by. That's fine. That doesn't mean that you are adhering to a more gentle version of Islam. You're picking and choosing that which allows you to navigate through life in a way that makes you feel comfortable. Now, I say this again because it's important that the discussion recognize that there's a difference between criticizing or commenting on ideologies and about people. So again, let's not make this mistake. Individual Muslims might be extremists or might be gentle and peaceful and kind. Individual Jews might be extremist in how they observe their religion or not so. But Judaism is Judaism and Islam is Islam. Now, of course, we could split hairs and say, but there's Shia Islam and there is Ahmadi Islam and there is Sunni Islam and there's, of course, the mystical elements of Islam under Sufism. But again, it's not as though there are different codified religious books that make us go to one type of Islam versus another, just like there aren't different versions of the Torah. Have a good week, everybody. Talk to you soon. Ciao.